It's about competence and confidence. And the more that one builds your competencies, that confidence just comes naturally.
There, you've got it right there, Institute for Luxury Home Marketing. That is the body that gives the Certified Luxury Home Marketing Specialist designation, CLHMS.
And bonus points for getting that all out correctly. So it's really about equipping real estate professionals with the skills and the roadmap that they need in order to put in the work that it takes to be successful and to be confident and to build that luxury business.
Hello, RWorld. Welcome back to another episode of RWorld Talk. We have a luxury guru in our midst this morning. We've got Tami Simms here with the Institute for Luxury Home Marketing, their lead trainer. She's also a realtor with Coastal Properties Group International in St. Pete. Welcome, Tami.
Thank you. It's a delight to be here.
I'm so glad that you made it in. We've had some rain down here in South Florida, and Tami was nice enough to drive all the way from St. Pete in the pouring rain to be with us. So thank you so much. Super appreciated. Why don't we kick this off with you telling us a little bit about you? Who's Tami? How'd you get into real estate and sort of what brought you into the Institute for Luxury Home Marketing?
Well, Tami has been a serial entrepreneur since I was 23 years old.
Okay.
And following my parents in their business stride, started a professional organizing business, owned a graphic design business.
Okay.
And my mom was one of my clients, and she was a realtor since 1986.
Okay.
And she got me kicking and screaming to get my license. And I told her, Mom, I'm never going to be a realtor. She said, just humor me.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of years later, I activated my license so that I could actually pinch hit for showing a property that I had developed all the marketing material for. And I said, but Mom, I'm never going to be a realtor. And she said, okay, just humor me. And and then it happened. So I joined my mom in her real estate practice, and I am super glad that I did. And the rest is history.
So you got suckered into it and ended up becoming the lead trainer for the Institute of Luxury Home Marketing.
Absolutely.
Okay, interesting. Why don't you tell us, because we are in that luxury realm this morning, what distinguishes South Florida's luxury market from, let's say, Long Island or Southern California, those coastal luxury markets?
It's a great question. And in any price point, but particularly luxury, you know that real estate is local, hyper-local. And I think part of the biggest differences in those geographic areas has to do with migration patterns, the clientele, tax ramifications, those things that come into play. Certainly, price points are different. I think that compared to those other places, South Florida is a bargain. But I think there's a little more international influence from different countries here. So there's some nuances that happen here that make it kind of special.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. It's funny when you talk about price points. I remember when I was growing up, hearing stories of like family members saying, "Oh, they've got $1 million home," and that was like a thing that you knew that you were at the height of luxury with $1 million home. But down here in the South Florida market, you're calling it affordable compared to someplace like Long Island or Southern California. But at the same time, that $1 million home doesn't even hit a luxury magazine anymore. I mean, that price point is almost entry level for some of our coastal communities, especially down here in Florida.
Absolutely. What's happened in terms of appreciation and just the appetite for ever increasing super exclusive luxury properties that just push the envelope. And so now, 100 million, not batting an eye at it. So you're right, that $1 million threshold.
And maybe paying cash.
Yeah. Yeah. And probably one of many residences around the globe.
Wow. Incredible. So where do you see the luxury market moving to in the next 5 years? Do you see any significant changes, any new trends that may be popping up?
What I'm seeing the biggest attention around is branded residences, luxury branded residences.
So you're talking like Porsche Tower, Amarni Tower.
Exactly. And even we've got a Waldorf Astoria residences coming to St. Petersburg, which will be the first brand residence in our area.
Really?
But people are willing to pay a premium for the level of service that that comes with those brand experiences,
Right.
the uniqueness, and that continues to be a growing trend. And I think that if you follow the economic news, real estate is considered to be one of the safest assets.
Right.
And so it is a smart place for wealthy individuals to put their money. It's legacy wealth. It's exclusivity.
Sure.
It's all those things. So I see the future of luxury real estate definitely being bullish.
Yeah, I think with what we're seeing right now with the stock market, you see a lot of people that are pulling out of the stock market. And typically, when that happens, they're looking for a safe harbor for their money. And a lot of times that is real estate. So we've seen all the money being pulled out right now. I'm excited to see what's going to happen this summer. Hopefully, that money is going to be dumped into real estate right down here in Florida. What are some misconceptions that you believe about working in that upper tier, those upper echelons of real estate?
I'm glad you asked that question because it's one of the most significant principles of the training that the Institute offers. And
Okay.
that misconception is that you have to live the same lifestyle in order to be successful
Sure.
in the upper tier. And we believe firmly that it's about competence and confidence. And the more that one builds your competencies, that confidence just comes naturally.
Right. Yeah. We've actually had guests on the show before that have talked about if you're not rolling in those circles, you're not going to end up meeting those people. But you're saying that if you can give somebody the level of service, like a branded residence,
That's right.
you go to the Ritz-Carlton because you're looking for that level of service. So if you can offer a high net worth individual the level of service that they've come to expect and really demand, you've got a chance to move into that level of sale and home.
Absolutely. And it's not just about excellence in service, it's about expanding your knowledge, right?
Sure.
So it doesn't happen overnight. Even if you're rolling in those circles,
Right.
you need to educate yourself, take the time to learn the nuances of working in the luxury space. Whole home automation, for example, um, understanding the appliances and the amenities that the individuals are looking for and what you'll find in a higher end price point. So, learning all of those things, understanding the market, those are things that anyone can do.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about the Institute for Luxury Home Marketing? Obviously, you're the lead trainer. That is the body that gives the Certified Luxury Home Marketing Specialist designation,
Yes,
CLHS.
and bonus points for getting that all out correctly. Yes. So when the Institute was created, the founder, Laurie Moore, and yes, that's two Moores. She's a Moore that married a Moore, and she was on the speaking circuit at that time. So it's
Okay.
a nice hook. She was being hired by a variety of different brands, boutique brokerages to design training for luxury divisions for each of those individual companies or brands. And she thought, why not create the education that would be the benchmark industry standard that was cross brand and that was something that when a real estate professional earned that designation, that stayed with them. So, for instance, if somebody takes a particular brand's luxury training and gets their certification, if they decide to change brokerages,
Aha.
then they can't use that
Right.
anymore. So this is something that that is a standalone, brand agnostic, but industry recognized level of achievement. And it's different than just sitting in a class and getting a certificate at the end,
Right.
because there's those as well. But in order to earn the CLHMS designation, it's a combination of the training, so education, and production.
Right.
And so
You have to have a certain number of a high,
yeah,
high
a certain number of transactions that are in essentially the top 10%
Okay.
of your marketplace. So
Okay.
there's not one number that fits all across the board.
So they could be $1 million sales in my neighborhood. In your neighborhood, it could be a $750,000 threshold.
exactly. It's going to be different in Peoria than it is in Long Island. That's for
Right.
sure.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. How many transactions do you need in order to qualify for the designation?
To earn the designation, we're looking for 3 closed transactions
Okay.
within a 2-year period.
Oh, okay.
And so each of those transactions needs to meet or exceed the luxury threshold for the county where the property is located.
So if you can't sell 3 luxury properties over the course of a 2-year period,
You probably need to take the training again.
yeah, right. You're not going to have that CLHMS designation, no. Okay, certainly. Well, you're calling people certified luxury home marketing experts. You should be able to sell 3 luxury properties in order to have a designation like that,
Absolutely.
especially within a 2-year period. So why don't you tell us, how does the Institute's program help realtors succeed in that luxury market?
In order to encapsulate 2 days of training in a soundbite, it's really about opening mindsets to understanding wealthy individuals.
Okay.
How did they earn their money, right? One of the misperceptions, if you will, is that the majority of the wealthy inherited their wealth, when in fact, the majority of the wealthy are self-made.
Right.
So they had to learn how to be wealthy, and they have certain expectations from the perspective of how they earned that wealth. And so kind of opening eyes as to who the wealthy really are and how to interact with them, understanding personality styles.
Right.
Certainly understanding some of the wants and needs of affluent buyers that are specific in the upper tier, and how to qualify wealthy individuals, which is
Okay.
often incredibly intimidating for newer agents or agents that
Right.
are used to that price point. And then all the way down to understanding the nuances of pricing in the upper tier, which is so much more than dollar per square foot. And then how to market properties successfully, how to market oneself to build the sphere of influence that you're looking for, build
Sure.
those professional connections. So it's really about equipping real estate professionals with the skills and the roadmap that they need in order to put in the work that it takes to be successful and to be confident and to build that luxury business.
Yeah, the luxury properties, you want to talk about pricing a luxury property, that has got to be one of the hardest things, one of the hardest tasks for you to do as a realtor. It's not like you've got a home that is in a neighborhood where everybody's got a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. They're all about 2,000 square feet and they were all built in the same year. We're talking about point lot properties that have custom homes, and there's so many different nuances, makes it very, very difficult to price one of those properties because you're not going to find anything like it on the block, in the neighborhood, maybe even in the zip code. A lot of those are just one of a kind, stunning properties, and it comes down to fine details.
Absolutely.
What kinds of materials and finishes went in? Why don't you tell us a few of the things that you train on about pricing a property that's in that luxury echelon?
So, really, that it's about lifestyle at the end of the day.
Sure.
What lifestyle does a home offer to a prospective buyer? What are the outdoor features? Proximity to recreation, or on the other hand, privacy. There's so many different nuances that come into play, and then having relationships with professional landscape architects and architects, builders, to get input from them on what would it take to replicate this, right? What would we be talking about if it could be replaced?
Right.
So really gathering information from all different sources and understanding the pressure points of why a buyer would buy something.
Yeah, you could easily spend a couple $100,000 on landscaping alone. I mean, when you
Easily.
start get into $25,000 per tree,
Easily, yes.
goodness gracious. How can Institute members distinguish themselves from other agents? You've taken a 2-day class, you've logged the transactions over the course of 2 years that probably got you into that seat in that class to begin with. But now, what can we do to really distinguish ourselves from others?
Well, I think leveraging the institute in your marketing is key.
Okay.
And I want to make it clear as well that there's benefit for agents who haven't yet earned the production
Okay.
to take the training, because that's going to be how they get to that next level. So
I'm glad that you just said that because I might have led somebody astray thinking,
thinking that they had to have the production in order to take the training. So
come get the training, figure out how to turn that into production.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So it's a fit for wherever someone is in their career.
Okay.
But a member, once you complete the training, you become a member of the Institute.
Okay.
And I think that's something that's really different as well than other types of certifications, right? So that's a piece of paper. You can use that language and then you move on. The Institute is a membership organization that has tremendous resources and tools for our members to use.
Okay.
And so they have access to data from Wealth Engine, the ability to kind of qualify wealthy individuals or to farm wealthy individuals in certain geographic areas. They've got access to print resources, marketing materials, workshops, webinars.
And you could do all this without even having the certification.
Correct.
Okay.
Just by being a member. So once you complete the training, you become a member.
Gotcha.
And you have access to all the tools that you could ever possibly use in order to build your luxury business. And you can leverage the fact that you are a member of the Institute for Luxury Home Marketing even before you earn the certification.
I don't think many people knew that. I certainly did not know that myself. You guys heard it right here. I'm sure that just gave a lot of people a lot of ideas, especially now in the market that we are having. You're looking for ways to expand your business, expand your income, expand your knowledge. There you've got it right there, Institute for Luxury Home Marketing. Become a member, take that training, and then you've got a course of 2 years to put in 3 transactions, and you guys are going to help us do it. So fantastic resource, my goodness. So you've trained hundreds, if not thousands, of agents across North America. What kind of success stories have you heard from agents who have gone through the Institute's luxury program?
Absolutely. Tens of thousands.
Oh, goodness.
Lost
Okay.
count many, many years ago. This is my 19th year as a trainer for the Institute. So
Congratulations. They kept you around.
Thank you. So I hear success stories all the time. People will reach out to me or share within our members only platform that they scored a listing or that they got a referral and were able to work with a buyer or a seller. And they credit the Institute for not only giving them the skills to do it, but also for being part of the reason why they were chosen, right? That differentiation piece. One of my favorite recollections was teaching a class years ago here in South Florida, actually. And one of the attendees of the class was a powerhouse realtor in Hawaii.
Okay.
She was using the class to write off her trip to visit her daughter.
Oh, goodness.
And she was right up front about that. And so she thought that she was just going to have to endure 2 days of things that she didn't need to know because she was an incredibly successful, like, celebrity realtor.
Okay.
She had a well-known celebrity's house on the market at that time,
Okay.
which was very impressive to all the others. And at the end of the class, she stood up and said, "You know, I've shared with you what my expectations were here." And she said, "But this young woman who's sitting next to me, taking notes, soaking in all this information," she said, "what it made me realize is that if I don't pay attention and stay at the top of my game, someone like this young woman is going to come take my business away and I wouldn't even have noticed."
Wow, that's powerful.
That was pretty powerful.
My goodness. Okay, good for you. Why don't you tell us about some of the Institute's tools? You went over a couple briefly, what is available online through the program, marketing materials and whatnot. But what Institute tools do you mostly rely on for your business?
Well, every day I am looking at the Institute Network, which is the members only, essentially social media platform, but
Okay.
it is independent, standalone. And I am using that to get ideas, to get motivation. Members will ask for guidance on a problem listing or something that's been stale, or they'll share a new technique. I facilitate a mastermind for a select group of Institute members, and so that's always something that that generates new ideas and connections.
Yeah,
But
masterminding is great.
one of the biggest benefits, I think, is the referral network.
Okay. There's a lot of referral networks through all different kinds of platforms, or whether that be brokerage specific or just groups on Facebook and things like that. Being able to be part of the Luxury Institute referral network, that's got to be a lot of money that's being exchanged through that platform.
And there's a lot of trust.
Okay.
So think about it. If you are sending a referral for a high net worth individual, you want them to be taken care of with white gloves.
Right.
And so
Because not only is that referral going to help them with what they're doing, but
it
you're
reflects
going to
back
get
on you.
feedback. Yeah, it's going to reflect back on you.
Yeah, exactly. And you want it to be successful because you'd like to get the referral check as well. But having the ability to choose from real estate professionals that have earned the designation, that are
Right.
demonstrating in how they present their profile within the member directory,
Sure.
to say, really, I am the right pick for you, right? And so I've done countless referrals, inbound and outbound, and have really found them to be really well served. And so the ability to match according to expertise within that price range is really important.
Yeah, that is important. And certainly, guys, if you're not updating your profiles on a regular basis, you are missing out because I'll tell you, if I'm going to look for, my friend in Florida who wants to purchase something out in California, I'm going to get names of those agents in California. And the first thing that I'm going to do is look at your online presence. And if there's a place that you have the ability to have a profile and you haven't filled out your bio and it says absolutely nothing about you, that does not reflect well on you at all.
Or if your last post was in 2016.
Yeah, are you still alive? Are you out there? Okay. So any other tips that you want to provide before we get to our last question, just in regards to anything in the luxury space that you think might help one of our realtors sort of get that get up and go and get out there and start working that luxury angle?
Well, I think I'm going to fall back on the old saying, think you can or think you can't. Either way, you're right.
Oh, that's beautiful. Love that. Well, why don't you tell us? We usually ask everybody who's on the pod about their favorite South Florida hidden gem. You're up in St. Pete. So why don't we switch that up? And why don't you tell us about your favorite podcast or book?
Absolutely. Well, the one that immediately comes to mind has a curse word in the title. So it's Lee Thomas Brown's Crazy S in Real Estate.
Okay.
I love that. But also, I am most pleased to be the co host of the Institute's podcast, which is called Estate of Mind.
Fantastic. A state of mind. Okay. And what do you guys talk about?
Well, my co-host, Jack Miller, who's a real estate professional in the Nashville area,
Okay.
we talk about things that are topical and helpful for our audience who can be real estate professionals, or sometimes it's our clients that even follow us.
Right.
They're interested. But things that are just kind of insightful about the real estate industry. We often interview professionals in certain areas with a theme of really trying to encourage people to think outside the box and to really provide exceptional service and really kind of underlining the fact that all of us are responsible for our industry's professionalism and public perception.
Right. That is so true. Everybody's responsible. It's a lot of times you hear, what's Florida Realtors doing about this? What's NAR doing about this? And what people don't realize is that we are Florida Realtors. We are NAR. And this is RWorld Talk. So, just like Tami was saying, you never know who's going to be listening to this. We've got agents that share this podcast at their open houses just to have, something on in the background. And
What a
we hear,
fantastic idea.
clients like it. Yeah, fantastic idea. So, guys, check out Tami Simms on Estate
Of Mind.
A State of Mind, her podcast, and definitely check out the Institute for luxury home marketing. If you want to amp up your game in a tough market like we have right now, you've got to find other ways to make money. There's a reason that they call it continuing education, is because it is continuous. So please always be learning, and definitely take a deep dive into what is happening in the luxury world, because there are tons and tons, hundreds and hundreds of millions, even billions of dollars being transacted in luxury real estate every year. So dive in head first. Give Tami a call if you need some training. Tami, thank you so much for being with us this
It was
morning.
my pleasure.
All right, guys, we'll see you right back here next week on RWorld Talk.